Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening depending on where you are in this world. My name is Donovan Jolly and welcome everybody once again for another video of DIY investing. Over the last couple days, I've been going over some really awesome charts that show some advanced analytics with Bitcoin that I think a lot of people have kind of forgotten about. With this bear market and all of this panic, it's really scary time, and I know a lot of people are getting ready to panic sell, and I've seen it inside of my own Discord server. Today I woke up and I saw a lot of people talking about them actually taking some of their losses and then just aiming to rebuy lower, and that's kind of a thing I've been telling you guys a lot about recently because I see a lot of people doing that. So today we're going to be going over some awesome analytics that show exactly what is happening with Bitcoin on a long-term perspective and why I think everybody needs to be holding onto their bags because what is coming is going to be massive. Help me hit 1,000 likes on this video by smashing that like button. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel as well, and then click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos like the one provided for you here. Help me get to my goal of 20,000 subscribers. We're at about a little over 17,000, so make sure you guys subscribe to the channel for more awesome content. If you're looking for a community that you can get behind, I have a Discord server with over 4,000 members, and it's a really awesome way for you guys to actually engage with a lot of other people, as well as get access to some of my more exclusive content. Now, it's totally free for you guys to join, but if you do want access to some of my more exclusive content, like my video course and signals, all you have to do is click in the description of this video, and there you're going to find the invitation link to my Discord. Click on that. Once you guys have access, just shoot me a message, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Now, the video course is a way for you guys to actually follow some educational content that teaches you guys all of the same strategy that I use to profit inside of cryptocurrency. So if you're somebody that wants to actually learn how to trade and become a profitable analyst on your own, you're definitely going to want to check that out. Now, the signals are a way for you guys to actually copy my long-term investments that I'm taking over the course of this cryptocurrency bull run. So if you guys would like to actually copy the exact portfolio that I'm doing based off of percentages, as well as following exact exit points that I'll be doing when taking my profits, that's something that you guys are definitely going to want to check out in the Discord. So make sure you guys just shoot me a message and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. With all that being said, we got a lot of cool things to talk about today, so let's jump right into this video. So one of the things I want to talk about for today's video, and really the whole point of topic here, is going to be the halving that is coming up in just under 2 months. And then we also wanted to be talking about just how many people own the majority of the Bitcoin supply, because there was something that I've seen a lot of people being talked about on Twitter. A lot of people are talking about actually how they don't think that we're going to see another bull run because there isn't a lot of retail involvement in this market. And they keep asking themselves, you know, with all of this talk of recession and the potential for even a depression, with all of the government shutdowns that are taking place, people are out of work, and in fact we're seeing a massive spike in the amount of people filing for unemployment. Cause a lot of scare inside of the market and the economy because people just are out of work right now. Now, I've seen a lot of people bring this up and why this is bad for Bitcoin, and people are saying that nobody's actually going to invest in Bitcoin because people don't have any money. People are starving. They have to sell all of their Bitcoin and actually buy food and things like that. And so I've seen the argument that a lot of people are against the Bitcoin in the short term, and they think that it's actually going to be bearish because of this. Now, I wanted to say that this is wrong for a couple different reasons, and I have exact analytics that I'm going to share with you guys today. But I believe that the reason why this is wrong is because of the fact the majority of people that own Bitcoin are a very fine amount of addresses. And what that means is that there's a very small amount of people that actually own the majority of Bitcoin supply. And so what we're seeing right now is a reaction from Bitcoin selling off in the wake of all of this fear with the pandemic that's going on. And to be quite honest, I think that that's mainly retail getting shaken out. Yes, there could have been some long-term Bitcoin addresses that haven't moved that actually did sell, but I think the majority of people are actually holding on to those investments, and they will continue to hold. What people forget to realize is the fact that since 2018, we've had institutional investors that are actually buying and trading in crypto, and they've been accumulating Bitcoin. And really, for the longest majority of time, it's been major exchanges that have held the biggest majority of Bitcoin and some of those biggest addresses. And what that means is that these people that are being affected by the economy, those same people weren't necessarily investing into Bitcoin in the first place. They kind of maybe had some funny money that they were playing around with, but the majority of people that invest in Bitcoin are actually institutions, or actually people that are holding a bigger supply than we might think. Now, this is taking me to the part that I wanted to make this video about. Now, this is actually some analytics that go and talk about the amount of Bitcoin addresses and, the people that are holding those, how much Bitcoin these addresses hold, because based off of this analytic, new analysis shows that less than 1% of the BTC addresses control nearly 87% of the supply. Now, something to keep a note of is this was actually made January 12th of 2019, so this would have been almost the exact bottom of the bear market. Now, I think that this is very important to talk about today because this is a little bit of an older metric, and what that shows is the fact that since this is an older metric, and this shows that the Bitcoin's price was probably at about 3,000 at this point, about 3,500, right around that New Year bottom, before we went to 14,000. And this is important because if 1% of the addresses controlled 87% of the supply back then, that was at the very lowest point of the bear market where all of the retail investors were shaken out. And so what that tells me is that strong hands are holding the biggest majority of supply of Bitcoin, and that's why all of this scare that is taking place in the media right now that's causing a lot of people to panic sell, I don't think it's necessarily a sustainable thing to think about. And I think that more likely than not, the people that were already holding the majority of the Bitcoin in that supply were people that weren't going to be affected by this and already had a lot of money to where they don't need groceries. They've already been prepping. They've already been preparing for all of this, and they have enough money that they can bypass the things that normal people can't. So they're not the ones that are affected by this. And so all of this shakeout right now is people selling right before a major bullish event that happens, the halving that's about to take place. And that's why I think it's very important that we talk about this today. Now, keep in mind, guys, this metric was made when Bitcoin's market cap was worth about 70 billion, and this showed that out of the 70 billion of Bitcoin's market cap, 62 billion was controlled by the 0.7% of BTC addresses. Those BTC addresses are continuing to accumulate, and with us being so close to that halving, they are holding for what is to come, because everybody knows what is about to happen for Bitcoin and the Bitcoin supply shock. Now, the next thing that I actually wanted to talk about today was the amount of Bitcoin addresses holding 1,000 plus Bitcoin. Now, this was actually a graphic made by Glassnode, as you can see here, so make sure you follow him on Twitter. Now, what I wanted to talk about today was this is actually an older analytic. Obviously, Bitcoin has declined in price since then, but what I wanted to share with you was the amount of addresses that are actually holding 1,000 Bitcoin or more, and how that number actually grew from when Bitcoin sold off from 6K and went all the way down to 3,200. And so this is kind of what I'm seeing here inside of Bitcoin today, is the fact that this number grew when Bitcoin sold off the hardest. And actually, when Bitcoin impulsed up to 14K, this number kept growing. And in fact, what we see from the last cycle was even from when Bitcoin was all the way down here at $200, there still wasn't the amount of people that were buying 1,000 plus Bitcoin. And once the actual bull run started, this metric actually ended up going back down. Now, I think that the reason why we're seeing this increase in Bitcoin addresses holding 1,000 plus is the amount of institutions and actual big corporations that are buying Bitcoin and holding that. Now, even with this number going down and Bitcoin's price going down, I think that this could have continue to trend down just a little bit, but I think that overall this analytics shows that the amount of people that are investing in Bitcoin aren't your average retail investor, because your average retail investor can't buy 1,000 Bitcoin. This is institutions that are openly investing into Bitcoin, and that's why we need to not focus on the short term about the average person in the middle class to lower class that has to, kind of sell all of their investments to pay for groceries, because those aren't the people that we are here focusing on. The people that are buying Bitcoin are actual institutions that have real money to put down towards this. And so this is really the biggest point of this. Now, what I want to talk about here was the halvings that happen. Now, these are every 4 years. The first halving took place in November of 2012, so about right here where this blue line is. The second halving took place shortly after I got into Bitcoin. I believe it was around July 6th. And then our next halving, and this is the third halving that's taking place, this is actually going to take place sometime in May. And we are very, very close to actually having this, and this has been one of the most bullish catalysts for Bitcoin's price discovery. Now, here's the thing that I have actually noticed about Bitcoin, and if we go back to every halving, we see that after the halving, we have a massive supply shock where the amount of new Bitcoin that are created and added to Bitcoin supply gets cut in half. And so this causes a massive parabolic move inside of Bitcoin, and we can see that every halving that we've had up to this point has created a massive price swing. Now, what we have coming up here is the next halving. This is the third one, and I highly expect it and anticipate it in actually doing similar to what's happened in times past. Now, when this actually takes place, I believe that the people that are accumulating the most amount of Bitcoin are setting themselves up for a massive return on their investment, something that we haven't seen in times past. And I do believe that this is a big hedge against the current failing financial system. Now, I want to talk about all of this today because if the majority of Bitcoin addresses are a very fine amount of people that hold the biggest majority of that supply, that tells me that the rich people that are buying Bitcoin aren't going to be negatively impacted by what's taking place in the world. I strongly believe that these have the strongest hands, and they're going to continue to hold through this because they do believe in Bitcoin and the longevity behind it. Even if this metric may have came down just a little bit and some of these people may have sold, I do strongly believe that this is far greater than even in the last bull run, and this needs to be talked about just because of the fact I think that major institutions have bought this dip. They've continued to average into their positions, and this is something that we could expect to see play out from the time being and into the future. Now, with us being so close to this halving, I believe that this is very bullish, and there's really no reason why I'm going to be shaken out of the market. I think that now is the time where we want to be buying. I wanted to make this video to kind of talk about the people that I see trying to panic sell and they're getting really shaken out of what's taking place. Even if we drop back down to $3,800, even low 4Ks, somewhere right around that range in the short term, I still believe that long term this is going to perform very well, and there's no reason to be shaken out of all of this that's taking place. I think that the biggest majority of institutions are investing into Bitcoin, and they hold the biggest majority of that supply, and so this number is only going to continue to rise. This shakeout was more or less retails and more or less probably institutions and market makers shorting the market to actually accumulate everybody else's fear. With all of this virus and the pandemic that's going on, everybody is really scared and they're quick to sell their investments. But you got to remember that there's always somebody else on the opposite end of that buying up your fear, and this metric and other metrics show that that's an institutional investor that's buying up your fear. So everybody just needs to pay attention to that. Anyways, guys, this is the video I had for you. If you found any value in this, always remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to this channel for more updates. Make sure you guys click in the description of the video so you guys can actually get access to my Discord server. We got a lot of people in there, over 4,000 members, and I also host some of my more exclusive content, being the video course and Signal. So if you guys want access to that, make sure you guys join the Discord. And with all that being said, I will catch you in the next video. As always, peace out.